Did witches recently astral projected into Tucker Carlson's house? Recently, a prominent American conservative political analyst shared in an interview an experience that suggested that he was recently attacked by some witches who astral projected into his home. Take a listen to this interview and I'll be back to give you more insight about that experience and how we can avoid such as Christians.
The presence of evil is kickstarting people to wonder about the good.
That's what happened to me.
That's what happened to you?
Oh yeah, I had a direct experience with it.
In the milieu of journalism or just...
Nope, in my bed at night, and I got attacked while I was asleep with my wife and 4 dogs in the bed and mauled. Physically mauled.
In a spiritual attack by a demon?
Yeah, by a demon. Or by something unseen that left...
Is that right?
Claw marks on my sides, on my...
So it left physical marks?
Oh, they're still there. Yeah. A year and a half ago.
Was your wife terrified? I know you were.
I wasn't. I was totally confused. I woke up and I couldn't breathe and I thought I was going to suffocate, and I walked around outside, and then I walked in and my wife and dogs had not woken up, and they're very light sleepers. And then I had these terrible pains on my rib cage and on my shoulder, and I was just in my boxer shorts, and I went and flipped on the light in the bathroom, and I had 4 claw marks on either side underneath my arms and on my left shoulder, and they're bleeding.
Wait, they were bleeding?
They're bleeding, yeah. No, they're actual claw marks. And I sleep on my side, so I wasn't clawing myself. I don't have long nails. And they didn't fit my hands anyway. But yeah, that happened. So I'm not from a world where things like that happen. I never heard of anything like that happening before. I had no idea what that was. I knew it was spiritual immediately.
You did? Okay, that was going to be my question.
Yeah. I don't understand to this day. I'm not going to put it.
You didn't try to refute the spiritual part in your own mind. You went right into the...
Well, it didn't make any sense, and it doesn't now. But I'm not from a, what do they call it, faith tradition that talks about things like that or even acknowledges their existence. Like, there's nothing like that. I've never heard anybody say anything like that in my whole life.
What was the next day like?
Well, the next morning I woke up and I thought, that was the weirdest dream I've ever had. And then I saw blood on my sheets, and I realized that was not a dream at all. I called my assistant, who was like the only evangelical Christian I know, well enough to call with something bizarre like that, totally bizarre like that. And she said, oh yeah, no, that happens. Yeah, people are attacked in their bed by demons. What? What are you even talking about? Yeah. So, I'm not leaving anything out, and I'm not pretending to understand that. I can only say what happened to me, and that did happen to me, and then I was seized with this very intense desire to read the Bible, which I then started without any study aids or anything. I bought a Bible that didn't have any. I'm not interested in editorializing in the Bible. I just want to read it and see what's in there myself. I have very low levels of trust for Christian pastors, most of whom, I'm just not a fan at all. And sorry to say that, but that's how I feel. And so I don't want to hear other people's opinions. I just want to see what's in there. So I spent a year and a half reading it, and then I started rereading it, and it was just a transformative experience for me. But I'm not, holding myself out as someone from whom you could get theological advice, because I'm
sure,
not.
Of course.
I don't know. I don't understand any of it. But yeah, that happened.
God allowed the demon?
I have no idea what happened. All I know is I was dead asleep with my wife and dogs, and I woke up with claw marks on my rib cage underneath my arms. And it didn't even make sense. My arms would... Anyway, whatever. No one has to believe me. I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
But that happened to me. And so I just was like, wow, that's real. Whatever that is, I'm even not sure what it is.
It's very real. And so then that presence of that evil launches.
During the interview, Turker Carlson recognized it as a demon coming to oppress him, but that was actually an astral projection by a witch. Why do I say this? When earth was created, God gave dominion to man over earth. Therefore means no spirit has the right to operate on earth without the permission of a man. So when an evil spirit wants to take an action, it will invite a man who will partner with that spirit. When I say man, I don't just mean a biological male. It also includes a woman who will need to partner with that spirit to bring about their heart here on earth. Now, within earth, there are several realms. Though we're in this physical realm, there are spiritual realms within this earth that demons can take the spirits of people and astral project into homes. So these activities are not just done by the demons, but they have partners on earth, which are also called witches, wizard, or warlock. You understand? So these beings, if you are not protected, they can come into your home and cause harm in different form in the spiritual. Like you saw in that interview, that he had a dream and he woke up to see physical mark in his body. That is common. Even among men, you see people waking up and having physical defects as a result of what happened in the dream per se, but it is actually happening in the spirit. What they saw in the dream was an activity that was happening in the spirit realm in their premises. But as Christians, what is God's provision for us? Are we so open to attack that anytime the devil wills, he can come to us in the room throne and which that we have astral project to us to cause us harm? No. The safety the way to guard against such astral projection or attempt to the enemy to cause oppression is first of all to build your spiritual capacity. When you have a high spiritual capacity, the devil cannot come in your space to cause harm. You know, the amount of God's word in our heart is a revelation of how much fire that we carry in the spirit. And if we have a lot of God's word, like if we deposited God's word enough in our heart, the fire in our life burns very hot in the spirit realm, and we see that fire repairs such witches. When they try to come into your house, when they see the fire of God, they have no option than to run back, than to leave, or else they will be consumed. So when we build our spiritual capacity, we will see that the enemy cannot approach our space to cause harm. Like I've said several times in my teachings, spiritual capacity is simply the measure of our capacity to love. Let me say that again. Spiritual capacity is simply a measure of our capacity to love. So when we are able to behold the love of Christ by what he did at the cross of Calvary, we are given a greater capacity to love like Christ. So when we behold the glory of the Lord at the cross of Calvary, we are given a greater capacity to love like Christ. And once our capacity has increased, we will not be able, like the enemy will not be able to come into our space to cause us harm. Some years ago, the Lord gave me an opportunity to know someone who was sent to a house. You know, demons don't just possess people, they can also possess houses. You get my point? So God had the intention to deliver the house. What he did was to send a man and a lady, both of them, to go to the house and just live there for a while. He did not send them there to pray, but by them being there alone, that house was delivered. In the same vein, when we have high spiritual capacity, just our presence in a place is enough protection for not just for us, but for those around there, because the enemies, the witches and wizards around cannot operate. Another thing that we need to guard against such experiences is for us to walk with our angels. In my book, which I recently released, talking about how to attract angelic assistance, I shared a story of how a witch had astral projected into a house of a man of God, and the man of God was oppressed by that witch, while his angel was there standing watching. Then the man of God asked, how come this angel was there and the witch was oppressing him? Then he was told that he did not instruct the angels. So though the Lord has given us angels as protection to us, we need to put them to work. We need to activate their ministry, and their ministry brings about protection, guidance, and everything we see written in the world as relates to angelic assistance. In this book, talking about how to attract angelic assistance, I wrote in detail how you can put your angels to work. Not just how you can attract angels to you, but how you can put them to work, and they'll bring about protection, their protection, bring about guidance, and help you in the fulfillment of God's purpose for you, in terms of His assignment for you, the work of the ministry He has called you to do. I believe this has blessed you. Or see you next time. Bye, everybody.